can't turn it. Can y'all see me? I guess it doesn't matter. I can't see the screen, but shalom to everybody. Peace, love, and radical blessings. Hallelujah. I wanted to just come on here because something had came in my ruach the other day that I never got to really touch on or speak on outside of what Yahuwah was just showing me and ministering to me. And I kind of see how that kind of actualized itself in my life and in my environment pertaining to what he was showing me. Because, you know, we have a lot of people within our community that are, you know, being fruitful and multiplying. And we just got some more news about a daughter who Yahuwah just visited and opened her womb. And so I'm like, okay, like this is definite confirming of what you showed me the other day, and it's pertaining to Yisrael being fruitful and multiplying in these particular times, because, or as I'll say, the evidence of our captivity turning and our deliverance being nigh. And I want to read something. We're going to go to Exodus real quick. Exodus chapter 1. Turn there. All right. So it says, now these are the names of the sons of Yasharel who came to Mizraim with Yaakov. Each came with his household: Reuven, Shimeon, Levi, and Yehuda, Yissachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All the descendants of Yaakov were 70 people. Yosef was already in Mizraim. Then Yosef died, and all his brothers and all that generation. But the Israelites were prolific and increased greatly. Hallelujah. They multiplied and became extremely strong, so that the land was filled with them. And I thought this was so important and key what Yahuwah was ministering, because all right. I thought that was so profound, because I recently found out that it's only like 49 million black people in the US, and I'm like, that's not a lot compared to, you know, the other nations. But it makes sense though, because I mean, given obviously y'all never chose us because we were big in numbers, so it makes sense. But however, I'm like, oh, you're saying that you are about to, and continuing to rather, open up the wombs of the descendants of Yasharel, that we may increase and become extremely strong. And so I wanted to speak to the nation regarding like contraception and like interfering with Yah's like divine and natural order. Just because you feel like you don't have money, you don't have a house, you're not in the best place with your spouse, that you should be coming together with your spouse and contracepting the natural order of Yah, by whether it's using condoms or pulling out or avoiding coming together overall, because Yahuwah is calling his people to increase and multiply. Now, I do have to say something. This is really the meat of my word, my message that Yahuwah spoke to me. If Yah is desiring for us to be fruitful and multiplying, and if this is the time of the baby boom in the Hebrew Israelite awakening, like, in order for it to be successful, we have to make sure that as a family structure, so starting with the man and then the woman, that you are in a healthy place to bring forth worshipers of Yah. Because I will say, it's better to have one righteous child than 7, 8, 3 wicked seeds. You understand what I'm saying? So this part is very important. You want to make sure that you're not just bringing forth, you know what I'm saying, any just any old thing in the earth realm. Because at the end of the day, Yah opens and closes the wombs, but he can also give like us the desires of our hearts. So if you just want children, you just want a family, like Yah will give you that, and it be totally not like according to his will or in alignment to his expectation and his standard. And I know that nobody would want to be in a situation like that, because we all are in a position where we want to be redeemed and rectified in our relationship. Can y'all hear me? I guess it got a little hot. All right, so I'm back. So I'm back. As I was saying, where did I leave off? Okay, so we don't want, for the sake of our own filling of our voids, to just have a family or bring forth children in vanity. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, given what we've done against Yah, I'm sure that you do not want to procreate that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to procreate a human being that's going to forsake Yahuwah as well. So I think that it's important for the Black community, for the Hebrew Israelite woke community, to know that our healing is very imperative for what we produce. Our relationships, our status, our interactions with each other as spouses, right, within our marriages, are imperative to the type of fruit, if fruit at all, that we produce. So I want to just shortly talk about the importance of the healing within the Black community, within the Hebrew awakening community, between man and woman, in the households, in order to be fruitful and to increase in the in alignment with the desire of Yah and what he's doing forth within our community, right? We have to really come together as men and women, as married couples, as a covenant couple, and really heal these wounds, because these wounds will pass through your blood. And we gotta stop cheating ourselves and selling ourselves short and want to heal and work on things after the baby's already here, because now you've already compromised your child, because they have bore the yoke and bondages that you have carried. So we have to normalize and highlight the healing and the work that is necessary before we bring forth children. And I believe that this is the moment for that, because there is a baby booming that is striking now, and that is definitely coming forth, because Yahuwah is saying that the nation of Yisrael shall increase and become extremely strong. And someone asked, what does that look like? We have to work on communication. Conflict within a marriage is not a problem. Conflict is there to give or yield the opportunity for expansion and for your demonstration of new reaction, new patterns, right? It's an opportunity for you to show your growth, for you to apply everything that Yah has shown you. You understand? Like, conflict is not a problem. Conflict yields growth. The problem is the communication or the lack thereof when conflict arises, right? So it's the not being listeners, not being patient, not being willing, not being adaptive. You understand what I'm saying? Like, totally being selfish in moments and not having a selfless servitude heart, and truly treating the marriage as a ministry, because your marriage is a ministry. And especially if you actually are in ministry work, your marriage is the first ministry work, your first works. You have a lot of couples within the Hebrew community that may both be in the ministry work, or someone's husband or whatever, right? And they put the ministry first before the ministry of their marriage, because ministry literally means service. And Yahuwah determines, or I'll say a big part of the determining of your salvation is coming forth first out of the exchange or interaction that you have had with the man or the woman within your household. So Yah looks at the way that you have served that daughter or that son, right? Or that daughter and son of Yah within the marriage first. Before, oh, your mishpaka, the sheep, or whatever else, like Yahuwah looks at the way that you are treating your husband and your wife. Because they are a child of light. They are a child of Yah. They are a son and a daughter of Zion first. And the way that you tear them down or build them up matters to Yahuwah. And it plays a significant role. It plays a significant role in the determination of your placement, whether it be eternity or everlasting with Yah or eternal burnings. So before we just pride ourselves or take a pride in, I'm not barren, I have children, I'm having so many children, you need to think about the scripture that says that there's better to have one righteous child or even none. There's better to have no children or one righteous child than 3, 2, 7, 18 children that do not serve Yah in totality. So just because you have multiple of children, it does not make you more righteous or more blessed than somebody that doesn't have children or that has one child or just 2 children. That doesn't make, like, you actually have a greater responsibility of making sure that you have not just basically duplicated your own sinful self. So the meat of my message is the detriment of the work that needs to take place within the home between the man and the woman first. Their individual healing is imperative for them to heal collectively, so that when they actually come together, like, you got to understand every step in the process of conception is important. Your intimacy, which exceeds just sex, it's the hugs, the holding of the hands, the helping each other clean. You understand what I'm saying? The supporting of one another's purpose, or, you know what I'm saying, assignments or tasks or work on the day-to-day basis, the conversations that y'all are having, the connection activities that y'all are doing, right? That really matters. The being able to listen to one another, the being able to consider each other, the being able to be adaptable, the being able to be willing, all of those things in situations, communicating, expressing each other's need, creating a safe space for one another, being apologetic, being forgiving, being affectionate, being nurturing, and understand that nurturing is not just limited to women. In fact, men by nature, in the perfect design that Yahuwah made them to be, are natural givers. When you as a man, like, move into a deep sense or a place, I'll say, and by place I mean a stayed place of always wanting to receive, you are effeminizing your own self. We talk about men being effeminized by women. Some men effeminize themselves because you want to receive when in your true nature you are a giver. Hallelujah. So it is very important for the men and the women in Zion to, first of all, acknowledge and accept your need for healing, individually and collectively. You need individual healing because a lot of the things that you have taken on or experienced that has traumatized you and that has influenced you to sin and defile yourself the more was things outside of your spouse, before your spouse. And it is affecting your relationship with them. It's affecting your ability to receive their love, your ability to trust them, your ability to follow them, your ability to respect them, your ability to be in harmony with them. It's affecting your attraction. It's affecting everything. And now you're just in a marriage thinking that you have to be, and I have to go with the flow and whatever else because it's a covenant with Yah and we're together. And it's like, what? You understand that you have the power to influence the amount of bliss or the amount of misery that you will live in. Being as though we are made in the likeness and in the image of Yahuwah, and He's given us power and ability, we have the access of creatorship because that's what we are. He called us Els. We have the ability to create the life we love. We talked about that yesterday or the day before, whatever. that means that you also have not only the ability but the responsibility to produce the amount of bliss that you're able to experience in this life, or in that understanding you grasp the concept that you too can not only produce that, but you're actually responsible for the amount of misery that you're living on the day-to-day. You're living in miserable relationships, miserable marriages by choice, because you don't want to be adaptable, because you don't want to bend, because I just want to do this and I said this, and you don't want to meet the need of that spouse. You don't want to meet them where they are. You can have so much insight. A lot of us will be like, yeah, because I know my spouse and I know your intention and I know what you meant by this and I know this and I know you. And it's like, well, do you want to use that information for your benefit instead of just sitting on a knowing or an understanding of something? How about you take the spiritual mature route and the choice of happiness, the choice of choosing happiness, and saying, you know what, even though I know this about you by now, that you know what, you may be a little bit offended in this area, or you may be a little bit proud in this area, but I'm actually choosing to look past like the scrutinizing of you and the blaming of you for these things, and kind of and going and entering into a compassionate sense, and show compassion towards you, and understand that all of these things are being masked. This is a masking of your hurt, actually. And so let me actually take the steps to let you know that, oh no, I'm not hurting you, or I'm not judging you. Like, I actually love you, and we're here together, reminding you that I'm your friend, reminding you that I'm here for you, reminding that we're in this together, reminding you that any type of good that I desire for you, I see that it's our good. You understand? And I desire that from you as well, for you to be able to bring out the best in me. Like, I love you, like we're here. Let me hold your hand through the conversation. Let me hold you through this conversation. Let me create a safe space, right? And take the initiative through my understanding of you, instead of sitting back like, no, I'm not saying anything. Like, I already know why you acting this way. I already know why you responding this way. And at the end of the day, you don't see it. That's on you. I'm choosing misery. When y'all could have been having a good time, holding hands, going on that trip in peace and harmony, whatever else, you could have been making that good love, doing whatever. Now you're sitting there. Now you're sitting there. That's all I'm going to say. You have to keep your marriage spontaneous and alive. And the way that you do that is through passion. There's not a lot of passion in the awakening. Like, we've lost our passion. And we exchanged it for, honestly, religion. It's the truth. A lot of people, Hebrew is not a, Torah is not a religion. Da, 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 da. Like, you say that, but you're living your life institutionalized to the point where it's seeping out in all the aspects of yourself, down to your marriage and your most intimate, supposed to be intimate and vulnerable spaces. You're treating it like a system instead of presentness and being present. Oh yeah, being present, being passionate, being compassionate, being receptive, being a giver, being lovingly powerful and powerfully loving. We choose misery in marriages. We choose to be miserable. We will sit back wanting affection. Man, I wish he would have got me those flowers. Man, I wish he would have did. You will have these thoughts, and then you sit there because he did, and you'll sit there as an emotional being, dysregulated. And you'll sit there holding that grudge, being resentful and bitter. And then when it finally comes out, you blow up and you hold it over their head and you keep the account. And then you just keep this cycle of misery until one day out the blue, y'all happen to come together and have sex, and y'all open your womb and you're pregnant again. Instead of you being able to produce children out of a place of love. A lot of people, I know this sounds crazy. A lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people will be taking account or remember, but I remember when my son was created. I know the day and the time. Baby, I know the day and the time. Like, that was made in love, okay? Like, passion, love, like harmony. It wasn't a quickie or just one night we both wanted to get off, or it just happened, or we had a little bit of wine, you know, and every other day we're miserable. No, like, my life, especially that season, it was a lot of connection. It was a lot of love. It was a lot of healing. It was a lot of intentional healing. It was a lot of consecration with Yah. There was a lot of taking care of ourselves. There was a lot of praying for one another. A lot of conversations. The passion was there. The intimacy, the sexual intimacy encounter happened out of a place of passion, because we were connected and actually desires for one another. And there was a lot of intentional bodily healing going forth. I was doing things. I was exercising. I was taking herbs. I was taking care of myself. These are the things that Yahuwah requites in the nation of Yisrael, the steps that must go forth before these children are just being birthed. You understand what I'm saying? So there is the desire of Yah to increase us and to make us extremely strong in these last days. But you need to really do the work as a couple to heal on every level before that wound gets open, because we don't know the day at a time. You don't have the choice. So you understand what I'm saying? It could get open dead smack in the midst of your defilement, and now it's like, dang. And I ain't even saying that that's too late. Then it's like, okay, well, you got to do some crunch time and really like reshape and repattern, because this baby is in you and feeding off you and taking on everything that is you. You understand? So women, we need to take care of our bodies. You need good sleep. You need to be mindful of what you're putting on your body. Yes, your deodorant can affect your fertility. Lotion can affect your fertility. That serum you put on your face can affect your fertility. That warehouse job might be affecting your fertility. The lack of sleep affecting your fertility. All that meat and dairy might be affecting your fertility. The stress is affecting your fertility. Too much cortisol. Your hormones are imbalanced. Take some Anna's wild yam cream. Do some castor oil packs. Put it right on your ovaries. Put it right over your liver. Put some heat on it, ladies. Get some sleep. Take some pure CBD with no THC in it. Help your stress and your anxiety and your sleep, because good sleep is very good for the fertility. You understand what I'm saying? Take your herbs. Red raspberry, right? Nettle, oat straw, Jamaican dog blood, right? Some hormone balancing teas. There's blends out here. It's one good herb I was missing. I said wild yam, but it was another one. Black cohosh, dong shai. Like, take these herbs. You understand what I'm saying? Do some juicing. Do some intermittent fasting. Fast. Eat some fruit. Eat your root vegetables. I couldn't stand. I still don't like beets and carrots and all that stuff, but I'll still drink it and get it over with, or maybe eat it because it's very good for women's reproductive health. You understand what I'm saying? Women, I don't know if you know about, you need to take some probiotics and prebiotics. It's very good for the gut and the vaginal flora. All of these things are going to help your health. You need to exercise at least 30 minutes a day, even if it's just a walk. That's very good. Every day, if it's just 30 minutes a walk every day, you need to lift as a woman some things as natural as possible, because all of these things are going to help your sleep, which is going to help your fertility. It's going to help your stress level, which is going to help your fertility. You understand what I'm saying? That's not it. You need to be journaling. You need to read. You need to pray. You need to breathe. You need to go on a walk. You need to paint. You need to do spoken word. You need to sing. You need to dance. You need to have creative outlet and expressions that is going to help your stress levels, which is going to help your fertility, which is going to help heal you on levels that your child self hasn't healed on. You need people to talk to. If you don't want to talk to a worldly therapist, cool. Talk to your community. Somebody entrusted, somebody inclined with the wisdoms of Yah. You need to speak to them about these traumas and unpack your childhood trauma, all of these things that are affecting, that your body is still holding on to, that's affecting your fertility, your sleep, your health, your well-being. And understand, there are a lot of people that don't do none of this and y'all still open their womb. I'm talking to people that want to intentionally be prepared and ready when y'all opens their womb, so that, or for the sake of what they're producing, aligns with y'all. That you are not procreating trauma. You are not procreating sin and iniquity. Because again, just because you have children, it does not mean that those children are righteous. It does not mean that those children align with the will of Yah. And you have a major role to play with that based off what you're passing to them. What else do we need to be doing? You need to be connecting to your ash. You need to be submitted to that man. It's not just about listening to what he says and washing his clothes. It's about submitting to his love, submitting to him as your protector, submitting to him as your safe space. He is the space that Yah is giving you to be soft. As women, we were not made to live hard lives and to be hard and tough and all of these things. Like, Yah made us to be soft. And you're in your man, in his presence is where your femininity blooms. It should be. Now, if you got a man that's just completely always bringing out the masculinity in you, then these are the things that needs to be talked about. You need to share that. Every time I'm with you or in our marriage, I always feel masculine. I'm always making the decisions. I'm always, having to do everything by myself. I'm always giving. Like, whatever it is, I'm just saying, like, whoever this applies to, you need to be really able to have healthy, functional conversations and communications about things so that you both can be in better. As a man, you need to talk to that woman. You know what? Like, I don't like how you talk to me. I don't like how you do things. You're not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't trust me. Like, this makes me feel this way. Like, as a man, you have to stop running away from being able to express your emotions and feelings. The world put that on y'all and told y'all that it's feminine for you to cry. It's feminine for you to be in tune with your emotions. It's feminine for you to talk about it. Like, you gotta be strong all the time and suck everything up. Like, no, that's not true. Actually, the most probably powerful man, the most impactful man is a man of emotional intelligence. A man that can express himself. You know what I'm saying? A man that has so much confidence in Yah and who he's deemed to be revealed as, that he can be his most vulnerable self. Hallelujah. I'm not saying it's always got to be a throw in the towel. Let's have a conversation. Let's have healthy communications. And both parties have to be willing to listen. You have to have a willing heart. You have to be adaptive. You have to be willing to admit your wrongs. If you really love a person. I love my husband and he loves me. So we're always willing to take moments and opportunities that present themselves to expand, to grow, to readapt and to repattern. And there be very heightened or the tough situation that arouse to bring out even that much greater in you. Again, I'm not saying you're going to have conflict. I'm just saying, and I'm not even saying it's wrong. I'm saying that the conflict is there to teach you something. And in each situation, you learn something different for you to apply in the next one. And basically, the goal is for you to eventually keep not responding the same way. You grow each time to the point where you outgrow even the conflict. And you get to that level of extreme bliss and dwelling or existence in just pure magnificence. That's the goal. Hallelujah. That's the goal. So there needs to be intimacy and love and healthy communication and conversations. There needs to be time spent between the husband and the wife. Before you're a father and a mother, you're a husband and a wife, like, period. Y'all have to be husband and wives in front of your parents, not just mother and father in front of your children. You're not supposed to just be mother and father in front of your children. You have to show your children we're husband and wife. We're husband and wife. You're not spending time with each other, quality time. You're not spending intimate time. Like, this is unhealthy. It's just a contract. It's just a contractional agreement that we're seeing in the Hebrew Awakening, where y'all just smiling for cameras and going to the Hebrew events. And that's why you got a lot of lust running around and a bunch of stuff, because you're not happy with your wife. You don't like your wife. You don't like this. Sexual energy pent up, a bunch of stuff, because either y'all not doing it at all, and when you're doing it, like I said, it's just a contract and it's just in the moment. And really, you're not just wanting sex. You want passion. That's the truth. You don't have passion. And so it's time to, what they say, relight that flame. You got to relight that flame. Me and my husband, we try to do a lot of activities like of intimacy that are outside of sex, like purposely doing things that are outside of just sex, because we have to be able to connect outside of there. And that's what magnifies. When you come together, that's what magnifies, baby. This is fireworks, you understand? Because we are connected on a soulful self level. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a soulful, we're connected on a soulful sense, in a soulful sense. And so everything else is like butter flows. It's just like, what? Hallelujah. So yeah, it's the baby booming time. It's time to make them babies. In order to make them babies, baby, you gotta come together. But what I'm saying is that you don't want to just come together in sin and iniquity and trauma and the same old exchange and interactions that you have that are dysfunctional and dry. You know, we have episodes coming up on our podcast and really just kicking that off, because we're going to talk about some things that probably even in awakening that's not talked about, because I know a lot of times in church don't talk about sex between a man and a woman that much. I don't really even know if in awakening, but a lot of people, the stuff I say, they'll be like, you're crass, like she's this, and it's like, well, I'm just real, number one, and number two, I'm talking about a covenant marriage, which is not even considered a marriage or consummated until you consummate it through sex. So it's like, why are we afraid of having those conversations? And on top of that, I'm young, in my prime, not dried up. I'm sorry. I'm alive and I'm woke and I'm well. Hallelujah. And I think that is something that's needed in awakening. We need to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of couples coming together, you're not even being satisfied when y'all coming together. Like, do you know how much I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. You're causing womb trauma to your wife. Every time that you have sex and she's not even satisfied and pleased, like if it hurts or it's not feeling good and she's just going through it, that's womb trauma, because the brain can't even distinguish this as force or something. You get what I'm saying? It's completely, and don't let her have already been sexually assaulted or something. You're putting her back in that. Like, come on now. Sex wasn't just made to do. If it was, why do y'all even make feeling in it? Why does it feel good or not feel good? You get what I'm saying? It could have just been something. You don't have feelings and it's something to do. We would have never known about the feeling or anything of it. It's like you have to, like, redeem the passion and understand that I feel like sex having feeling to it proves that you have to be in a good space. That, yeah, like, it proves the point that this was not just to procreate something to reproduce. It was to reproduce something good. Because in order for me to have the good feelings, I have to be in a good space with you. And if I'm in a good space with you, what we're going to produce, what we're going to birth is going to be good. You understand what I'm saying? Because what we're going to pass to this child is love and harmony and peace and wellness and everything else. So, all the same to you, Yahuwah. I love you all, and I just pray that this was a blessing to you all, and that you're able to share this video, like it, meditate on it. For those of you in covenant relationships or betrothed to be, I pray that this is something in all seriousness and in maturity, spiritual maturity and understanding, is had of what Yahuwah expects and what he desires to do within our community, within our nation, to increase us and to make us extremely strong. Shalom, shalom, peace, love, and radical blessings.